Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We have got to talk about these Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed updates.
Do we, David? Do we?
I insist.
Dang it. I guess since we're already here, we might as well. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can find the link in the description. I mean, I feel you, Sarah. This is just another disappointing result from this HOH.
Another week. Another week. Honestly, okay, so after we wrapped up our video last night, we were like waiting for those live feeds to come back to find out who won HOH. We have been excited. There's cracks in the committee. This is it. Kevin and David are primed, perfectly positioned to be dragged along, to go after other
numbers.
people. This is the time to go against each other. And then literally the one person in the committee who is not ready to do that, who genuinely is targeting one of those two left. I mean, technically there's three left, but we count Enzo. He's like honorary member of the committee.
He's on another level.
Yeah. So that person is the one who won.
Yeah, and that person is Cody. So, I mean, it is a disappointing result. It's just like, really, we're going to put Kevin and David on the block?
Yeah.
That is quite literally what's happening right now.
Happening. Yes, feeds are down right now. He is 100% nominating David and Kevin.
Yeah.
And Kevin is legitimately his target. He thinks that Kevin has been coming after him for weeks. That's partially true.
I was going to say, like, I don't blame Cody for this because, like, Kevin has talked about going after Cody. So it's a smart move for Cody's game. But I want more drama, Sarah.
Yes. Yes, exactly. We are tired of this. Enzo is speaking for us in the house. He has been saying, this is boring. I am tired of this. We have got to shake things up. He has been saying it for weeks, but he's saying it again. Like, even he knows. He's happy Cody's HOH. He's safe, but like, even he knows, like, let's go. And Cody's not going to do it.
Someone who's like, not the same people. Like, how many swings are we going to take at these poor people? You know? And he's like, America does not want to see Kevin and David on the block. And we're like yelling outside the wall, Enzo's right. You know, it's
like what Enzo said. Yes. We don't want to see it. Now, we do know that even though these are Cody's noms, we know that Cody is like slightly working with David. He's using David. He does not want to lose David. He like threw a fit last week when he thought David was going to be backdoored.
Yes.
So even though David is going up, I was kind of like waiting to hear how he was going to phrase this, because I was like, do you want David to go home? And he sort of did confirm no. He doesn't want
the way he phrased it was so funny, this conversation between the two of them, because Cody's like, so I gotta do some things. There's, you know, he's like, he's playing a very different game from David. David is like squeaking by week, just trying to like get a foothold somewhere. Cody knows exactly what's happening in the house, right? Like almost everything. And so Cody's like, there are things happening in this game. There is a bigger picture that you are not aware of, and I've got to do some things. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I want to say without saying it. Like, there's some smoke and mirrors, David, that there's going to be a nomination, and it's smoke and mirrors. I don't know how many times he said it, and it was like, basically, you are my pawn, and that's what's going to happen. But he like didn't come right out and say that.
Yeah, actually, you saying it and us doing hands, it felt better. Like, that was what Cody was missing.
Right.
Smoke and mirrors. Like, that would have been better, Cody, if you could have added a little bit of that in there.
You gotta have like a little hand motion. Yeah.
He did tell Enzo. So we had a heads up that this was going to be his approach with David. He was like, I want to tell David about the big alliance and that I have to do this for the big alliance, but without saying I'm in a big alliance, because you can't out the alliance I mean, if David were to retell that, he'd be in
Yeah.
trouble. So
Yes.
he wanted to do it in a way, and that's the way he did it. Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, right.
Like, I gotta do a thing to appease some things, but smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, he's like, do you smell what I'm stepping in,
Yeah.
David? Like,
You got it.
you get it?
And honestly,
And
David has given us so many riddles that it's only fair that
Yeah,
he get it back.
true. Yes.
So David was like, okay, yeah, all right, okay.
Yeah.
And then there was a cute moment where David was like, can I tell you about when I won the power? And he was like, I don't get to talk about it. And Cody was like, yeah, go ahead, tell me. And like David's face lit up and he was like, I got it. It was in my hand. And I just like knew. And then like I closed my eyes because it's dark. I can't see anything, but I could hear like what sounds like a podium. Like it was actually a decent strategy that David was like, I'm listening for the sound of people trying to shove something into a podium. And that's how he found it and he got it. And like, that's genius. But it was really cute because David hasn't been able to like share that story.
Yeah, because he handled it so weirdly, like couldn't really be honest with anyone. And now that's just kind of blown over, he's like, can I finally tell somebody this story, please? And like it makes sense. Like the one person who's kind of saying like, let's, we got a thing going. Okay, we got some smoke and we got some mirrors, if you know what I'm saying. And David's like, okay, this person, I can kind of trust this person. So I want to tell him how I did this because I'm so happy.
And I mean, I was like, oh, it's a dark room comp. Guess who's not good at that? But like, it's kind of redemption for David to have.
Yeah.
His was the first piece. He was the first one to like lock it in, and they announced each time like one has been found. So he was excited the first. That was really cute.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get to Kevin's conversation, because Kevin's, y'all, heads up, got super.
It was great. It was great.
It was a full-on argument. It was good stuff. So let's back up to his talk with Enzo, because Cody was the most honest with Enzo about like his overall plans and feelings and everything. And Enzo revealed some information to Cody too.
It was a good conversation. It was the first one, right? In terms of the one-on-ones happening. Yeah,
Enzo got in there early. He really did the Lord's work. Really pushing Christmas. Oh, Christmas. That's Christmas. Oh, Christmas.
Right.
Oh, Christmas. And got Cody to be like, yeah, agree. If Kevin comes down, Cody, Christmas would be my renom because I don't want David to go. I do not want to lose David. Like, he is genuinely a pawn. I don't want to lose David. So his second choice is Christmas to go if he can't get Kevin out this week.
Right. And
even to the point that Enzo was like kind of deflecting when Cody would be like, Kevin's coming for me. Like, Kevin's got to go up. He's got to go. He's coming for me. Enzo was like, he talks a lot about Danny. He's real mad at Danny. I don't know. Kevin's like upset with other people. Like,
right. Trying to like throw him off the scent. But I think like Cody's plan is Christmas as a renom, regardless of if either of them come down, right? It's not just if Kevin comes down or David. Like, if either Kevin or David come down, Christmas is the renom. What I think could get interesting is what happens if David comes down and Christmas goes up, right? Because Kevin will still be Cody's target, but Enzo is really working this angle. And it's interesting as well. The other layer to this that I like is that Enzo's supposed to be in this final three, with Christmas and Memphis. And now obviously Enzo is ready to blow that up. Like, this goes back to your point of Enzo being like, this is so boring. Like, can we please do something? And Christmas is definitely his target. And I just am like, that's juicy because he's supposed to be in this wise guys thing with Christmas. So.
Right. And because Enzo is just the holder of all the information. I think he knows everything going on in the house. Everyone shares so much with him that in this conversation with Cody, because also the other wise guys is Cody in Memphis, right?
Yes.
So they have that thing going. And Enzo used this time to be like, you know, Christmas. And also, there's another wise guy. So he's like, I'm telling you, he's like, you were good enough to tell me about the committee. So I'm going to tell you, Memphis made another wise guys with me and Christmas. And that's information that Cody needs to just like have.
Yeah. And we talked about suspecting that this would happen, right? That Memphis laid this master plan out to everybody. And we were kind of feeling like these people are, you know, this is not their first time around. Like they're not going to let Memphis just pull this off and then be able to like claim this really, I think, great plan if he makes it to final two. I kind of didn't expect it to get blown up this quickly though. And I'm I was shocked. I think I audibly was like, when Enzo started saying about the wise guys, like I didn't know when he was going to use that information, but this is a good time when he's like trying to plant those seeds that first off, he wants Christmas out, but also you can't 100% trust Memphis. Like, look what Memphis is doing behind your back. And you're like what you said about Memphis being so smart to set this stuff up, but Enzo and Cody have been working together forever. Enzo and Tyler have been working together forever. And the three of them have been working together. Right.
So it's almost like, good job, Memphis, but you might have been too late.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're trying to like get in with these people whose bonds are tighter with each other than they are with you. And it's a good strategy to use that info to paint Christmas as a threat to Cody's game, right? To say like, you think you got this great final three going, but guess what? Christmas has one too. So do you want it to be you or do you want it to be her in this final three wise guys, whatever, you know? So it's like a very good strategy. I mean, Christmas otherwise, like, I don't think is a huge threat to Cody's game. She's just kind of expendable in terms of the committee. I think that's how they look at her. In fact, Cody was even talking about like, if I get house guest choice for veto, I would pick Memphis or Christmas because they're going to go hard. You know, he kind of looks at her as an asset in that way. She can win competitions. So very smart of Enzo to use this information to be like, no, Christmas she should not be your friend here. You know, so I definitely don't think that we'll see Cody use house guest choice on Christmas because she is now his renom plan.
Right. He couldn't. Yeah. That had to have been just all talk, right? Like he's going to choose Memphis or somebody else. Like you can't pick Christmas if she's your possible.
Right.
Because
unless his IQ actually is 10.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about the Kevin Cody conversation because this is where it got good. Because honestly, let me tell you, my head hurts from listening to Cody all day, y'all.
I know it's painful. And also like the feed cuts have been out of control. I'm like, what are you even cutting for? Like in them just randomly during this conversation with Kevin. And I'm like, I'm trying to listen to this argument and you just keep cutting it for, I don't know what reason. Like what are Cody and Kevin saying that you need to hide from us?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything weird or problematic is happening. They're just talking game. No. And it's been like this ever since that weird 22 hours off. Like ever since they've come back, they're so spotty. They're just like cut.
Maybe maybe the person who's like running that got sick and they got someone new on the job. You think?
It would have to be a whole team of people who are new.
Yeah.
Like an entire team got fired is what it seems like. And an entire new team is learning on the job right now and cannot get it is what's happening.
Right. Because also like, I don't want to talk too much about the mechanics of the feed because it's like kind of boring, but like they're cutting like half the cameras now. Like normally when the feeds go down, it's just everything. And now it's like, I'm looking at the quad view and like two of the cameras are down with the music and two of them are still on. And I'm like, when did this change happen? Like, what's going on? But it was frustrating the way it kind of broke up this Kevin and Cody conversation because it was good.
Yeah. It made me think, I think you brought it up of like, are they trying to do something different? And I was like, maybe they are. Cause like, maybe they're trying to have 4, cause you know how it's 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Like it's one conversation and one conversation. Right. Maybe they are trying to give us like 4 options and like they're just figuring it out on the job. Anyway, you're right. We shouldn't talk about the mechanics of computers and feeds.
Yeah, right.
Although Shafika says she loves it. So thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Shafika. But I mean, the way this Kevin and Cody thing goes, like, it starts off, you know, they kind of both know that, like, they don't have any kind of game relationship, but it devolves into Cody being like, yeah, I'll put you up. I'll tell you I'm putting you up. I'm going to nominate you, Kevin. Yeah. So I'm like, love that trajectory.
Yeah. So yes, the talk was fairly civil, like it definitely amped up, but Kevin did come in with sass, and I cannot blame him. How many weeks is this in a row that he's going to be on the block? Like, come on. This is ridiculous. Like, you've pushed this man to a point where if he doesn't just like completely like pull a Janelle and just start yelling and grabbing keys off of people's necks and like say I'm coming for you, like I'll be disappointed, because just the poor man is what I'm saying. Because the first thing Cody says, and he told this to every single person that he was meeting with, I'm gonna ask him, was he gonna put me up if he won? And if he says no to me, that's it. I'm tuning him out. I'm not talking to him.
Right.
Okay.
Because I know he's coming for me. Yeah. I know. I'm like, what the? How is that a good strategy?
If he says yes, that what? Yeah. Didn't make any sense. But that is how Cody starts it. He's like, would you have put me up? And Kevin's like, no. But Kevin quickly says, I told Danny who I was going to put up. Yeah. And you can ask her because you're working together. And I was like, what? Oh, those are like minor shots fired, because like, what are you saying there, Kevin? So Kevin had a little sass from the beginning. Yeah. Like, Cody, you don't have the upper hand of me.
And then I think Kevin was also getting annoyed with the way Cody was talking to him, because Cody was like, you know, you just got to engage with people more, man. Like, you don't talk game, blah, blah, blah. And Kevin was like, I'm going to stop you right there, because the fact is that when I walk into any room, the conversation shifts and no one talks game to me. So don't tell me, like, we're both all-stars. We've both done this before. Don't tell me that I need to talk more game to people who literally will not talk game to me. They refuse to. And he's like, I know where you're at, Cody, because I was there on my season. You're on the side of the house with power, and that's great for you. And I can relate. I know how that feels, but like, don't talk to me like I'm an idiot and I don't know how to play Big Brother. The fact is that you guys just will not. You won't engage with me. Don't try to like gaslight me and tell me that I'm not engaging with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reality here is that Cody put Kevin up week 1. And from that moment, Kevin has had to dig his way out, trying to find anyone who will, you know, publicly be aligned with him. Like, he's one of those people that you're like, oh, I can't work with him. I want to work with the people in power, you know? So like, what is it that anyone would think that he would do? Like, he's just been in survival mode since week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, that's why it sucks to like go on the block week 1. You're playing on your back foot the entire time. And, you know, those nominations, Kevin didn't do anything to Cody at that point to like make himself a target necessarily. Cody's just got to pick 2 people, right? But it just totally blew up Kevin's game before he could even get it started. So I think it's like, it stings to like hear Cody saying these things like all these weeks later. And Kevin, I'm sure Kevin wants to be like, it's your fault that my game is where it is. Like, don't talk to me like I'm playing this game poorly. Like, you kind of made me a pariah in the house.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And along those lines, Kevin was trying to sort of say like, because you did that, I could come after you. We could play like a tit for tat type thing. And he was alluding to like, Danny put up Tyler. If Tyler wanted to go back against her, he could. Like, that is a way to do that. But like, I could be of use to you. Like, how could you use me to fight the other people that you have to go against? It's kind of how he was phrasing it. But obviously Cody doesn't want to use him. So Cody was like, what are you talking about, tit for tat? Like, what are you saying? And Cody was trying to get him to say, I won't vote for you in jury. Like Cody was like, is that what you're telling me? And of course, Kevin's not gonna say it like that. He's just talking about like, we could do tit for tat is what he was kind of talking about. But at one point, Kevin says, no, Cody, the world doesn't revolve around you. And that's when I was like, here we go.
Yeah. And I think that has been said to Cody before, because boy, did he not like that. You know, he just was like, I know the world doesn't revolve around me. Like, why would you say that to me? Like, it just is like the conversation totally breaks down at that point. Like, there's nothing constructive coming from this now. And I think that is when Cody was like, you know what? Fine. Yeah, you're going on the block. I'm nominating you, Kevin. And I think Kevin was like, okay, that's what I wanted to know. Great. I have information.
Well, yeah, because before he even said that, because he said something like, if I'm picking up what you're putting down, we aren't working together. We feel a certain type of way about each other. It was things like that of like, okay, I get it. So I'm going up on the block. And then, so yeah, as they start yelling, Cody's like, yes, I will. I am going to put you on the block. I will say it. It is happening. And Kevin, oh yeah, it was good. Yeah. But it also, I mean, I'm glad. Yeah. I stand by this because Kevin has been just raked over the coals. Yeah. But it did make me worried that this is taking away from what was building for Christmas.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, I think what I hope is that this is energizing Kevin. And because when Cody did the retell of the conversation with Danny immediately after Kevin left, I also loved how Kevin walked out of the room. He like slings the blanket over his shoulder and he's like, thanks for connecting. And then he leaves the room. And I'm like, yes, just like throw one more dagger on your way out the room. Right. But when Cody is doing the retell, he's just like still just very, very butthurt. And Danny is like, well, you know, this is going to help you and it's going to hurt him. Like he's going to be in his head for the veto. And I hope the opposite happens. Like, because I want to see this power shift. I don't want Kevin to go, you know, so I want Kevin to like be focused and take himself down.
I can't believe that I am basically standing Kevin at this point. Like I know we've come so far, David. We've come so far.
Right. Well, we're running out of people to stand. So
this is true. This is true. I feel like just like railing on my rooftop of just like Kevin wins me. Like I can't want it more at this point. I mean, Cody's retell was so dramatic. He's so shook. He's so big mad. He is like he can't believe the audacity of anybody else. Like even showing a mirror up to like smoke and mirrors. No smoke, just a mirror in front of Cody of mirror, like, you think that because you're in power, the world revolves around you. It's not about you. Other people are trying to play this game as well. So yeah, if Kevin wins the veto and Cody has to live with Kevin even longer, like that's just
I know. That's so good.
Just so good. So fun. Yeah. But also we would get Christmas on the block, and that is also so fun.
That would be great. Yeah.
This is what we need, you guys.
This is it. I know. It's almost like we shouldn't say it, though, because every time we're like, please need this to happen, the opposite.
Exactly. Happens, you know? Exactly. And there were so many things over the season that we were like, if this just happens.
Yeah.
And then it didn't.
And then it doesn't.
It didn't happen. So we did. Apparently, David, because we didn't mention this in our video last night, but apparently we missed that the veto this week is OTEV.
Oh, I remember Julie saying that.
Okay. Yeah. I missed it. And I saw people talking about it online and I was like, what? So Julie said it is OTEV. With this whole prizes punishments thing, the house guests are like, is it going to be that graveyard thing? Just like we said.
Yes.
The graveyard veto. But OTEV, I don't know. What are Kevin's odds at winning OTEV?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a competition anyone can win, which I don't think works in Kevin's favor. But I do think he's like a sharp guy. It just depends on like, I don't know if he's good at like counting the days and knowing when, you know, certain events happened and all that stuff. It really is like, how closely have you been paying attention to the game? But I imagine he could win, but I just am not.
I know, it's so terrifying.
You know? Yeah. Also, it's interesting that OTEV is a massive setup, right? Like it's a huge veto comp. I'm curious how that's going to work with the triple eviction scenario. Like they've got to do a lot more comps than just OTEV. But I guess, no, you're right. OTEV will happen. I'm mixed up. OTEV will happen when? On Sunday?
So, David, this is how the Big Brother works.
Oh my God. Literally, like, please take me back to school. Like, what the F am I even thinking about? No, I'm totally mixed up.
We're going to play OTEV
tomorrow. Yes. Okay.
We'll see it on Wednesday.
Right.
But it would have already happened.
The triple eviction on Thursday. You're right. Okay. Wow.
It's like What's David and I haven't been doing this for years.
Truly. Where is my brain? Oh my God.
It's 2020 brain. It's mush. Yeah. It's gone.
Yeah.
Seriously. I do. I think because Davon and him have done a lot of studying. Davon's big on studying. So I feel like he's got a decent amount of info in his head. But, you know, OTEV is hard, and it just comes down to like, can you find it? You know,
exactly. It's not just knowing the info. It's like the luck of finding the right piece, you know?
Yeah. So the BB luck has to be on Kevin's side. We need it so much. But honestly, I just need more sassy Kevin. I need him to not be taking crap from anybody anymore.
I think he's done, like, you know, playing nice with these people. Like, he knows what's up. Like, I think, didn't he tell Cody that Davon told him about the Slick Six situation? So he just like knows this information. He's not shy saying that he knows this information. And it's like, he's just kind of to this point where he's like, don't pretend like there was ever any kind of opportunity for me to work with you idiots. Like, we all know it was never going to happen. So we're not doing that. And I'm not letting you do that to me anymore.
Yeah. So if Kevin is able to pull himself off the block, Christmas will go up and she will probably give us some excitement on the feeds about it. She won't be happy. But I do believe that she would be voted out. Enough people would want to keep David over her. So that one is fairly self-explanatory. But if David pulls himself down off the block and they put Kevin up, then there is a debate.
Christmas up. Yeah.
Christmas up. Cody is going to be torn. He's going to want Kevin to go. He's mad at Kevin.
Yeah.
Would Enzo be able to pull other people? This is where I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely going to, I don't know if this is going to be one of those weeks. If it's Kevin versus Christmas on the block, I don't necessarily know if like the HOH is calling the shots and saying, you know, my target's Kevin, y'all need to send Kevin home. Like, I think they're going to be like, well, do we really want to send Kevin home? Like, is Kevin really a threat to anyone other than Cody, you know? So.
Yeah. And Christmas is super dangerous to some of the people, like Danny. Danny wants Christmas out super bad. Enzo wants Christmas out super bad. But Memphis isn't going to want her out. Tyler's probably not going to want her out versus...
I don't think so.
A Kevin?
Yeah, Tyler's not working with Kevin. Tyler has a final two at Christmas. So I think he would want to keep Christmas for sure.
So it really does have to be Kevin pulling himself down. That's really... the only way that we get a little bit of excitement. Right.
Now I forget what we talked about on the stream versus what we were discussing before, but did we talk about how Danny used her power on the HOH?
No. Good call.
Okay. So
Danny
she
used
did.
her power.
And we had talked about the conversation that she had with Memphis, where she said, I've got this power. Do you want me to use it? I think, though, the feed's cut and we never really heard what Memphis said, like, yes, please or no. So she did end up using it on Memphis, but it was kind of a dud. Like, nobody really cares. He just played, and then Danny and Memphis have been going around like, oh, we did the power was mine. I used it. It was mine. I'm Danny. I used it. And Memphis is like, yes, Danny used it on me. And literally no one cares at all.
No one was talking about it at all. It literally obviously happened. Obviously, Julie had to be like, haha, power was used and Memphis play. And when feeds come back and no one's talking about it except for Memphis and Danny. They're the ones being like, Danny's like, it was my power. It was my power. I used it on him. And Memphis is like, I just want to make sure everybody knows it was Danny's power. I didn't want that power. It was Danny's power. She didn't use it on me. So I was like, nobody else seems to care whatsoever.
Yeah. And the big part of this comp that people are talking about is the prize aspect of it. It sounds like there were 2 opportunities to win $5,000 in this competition. And we know that Tyler won one of them. He said something to Cody at some point about like, oh, are you mad that I took half of your $10,000? He's trying to like fish out if Cody was going after the money as well. But the only thing we know is that Tyler's got one of those $5,000 prizes.
So it sounds like it was like maybe a putt-putt golf type thing. It sounded like they were swinging a ball into a hole, but it was private and it was separate, and you could get scores and you could do multiple tries, and like one section was HOH and the other section was prizes. So you could choose to do like try to go for HOH or try to go for prizes. It sounds like you had multiple chances.
Right.
So they revealed the scores to show who won HOH, which was who's our HOH? Cody. And I almost said Memphis, and I was like, wait, what? No, that's not right. But they didn't reveal like who got the prizes. So that's what people were like, I know you got it. I know you got it. I didn't win it. I didn't win any money. But eventually Tyler did tell Christmas and Cody last night that he won the $5,000.
And that's kind of getting around, right? I think Danny knows about it now because I feel like I heard Danny say like, well, I came to win 500,000, not 10,000. You know, like people are of course like annoyed that they didn't get this money. And so
I don't know if that's gotten around other than Cody did admit it to Memphis, because Memphis was like trying to pin it on Tyler. Memphis is done. He's doing his best to plant all these seeds about Tyler. Tyler's this, Tyler's that. He's so sketchy, and he looks like he's
Tyler won't do what Memphis says, so that's not good for Memphis's game. Gotta get that person out of here. You know,
that's true. And then Cody was just like, "Oh yeah, no." He admitted to me that he won the $5,000, and Memphis was like, "Oh, okay." But whoever the second person is that won 5,000 hasn't admitted it.
Maybe it's David. He's good at keeping
secrets. Could be. Could also be Kevin, because he's got no one to share that news with.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
He's just sitting there.
Yeah.
I think also it could be Tyler got 10,000, because if I'm hearing them right, you could do it multiple times and you could have gotten that 5,000 twice.
Sure. Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past Tyler to have won both of them and to
only tell one. Yes. Yeah. Like I only got one of them. I don't know where the second one went, you know.
Who's got that one? Who? Yeah. Would not put that by Tyler at all.
For sure. Now, the other thing that people are talking about a little bit, but it's not as big of a deal as the vote from last week, but they are talking about these votes to save Davon and evict Kevin. It sounds like Danny thought she was going to be the only vote to save Davon, and Nicole's got this theory that Danny wanted to be the only one and then try to pin it on David or something. We don't have confirmation from Danny that was her plan, but there's talk about like maybe it was Christmas and David, or maybe it was Danny and Nicole, and they're doing this for jury management. Like, you know, a handful of names are being thrown around, and it doesn't really seem to be anything yet that's like really dividing anybody, but people are just like speculating like, well, what's going on there? It was supposed to be unanimous to evict Davon.
Exactly. obviously with Cody winning HOH, he's not going to use that as any sort of justification. He doesn't need to. But it could have been used if it was somebody else. So yeah, there's just like mild discussion. But I did think it was interesting that Nicole and Danny did not concoct that plan together.
Yeah.
They are lying about their vote. Like Nicole straight up was like, Kevin, who do you think the votes were? Like, who do you think the two to evict you were? You know, like that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, homegirl is straight up trying to pin it on people. And she did apparently, or at least this is Tyler's retell, so I don't know if this really happened, but Tyler claims that she said to him, oh, I bet it was Christmas. So Tyler promptly told Christmas that because Christmas, he is 100% trying to get Christmas to go after Danny. He is putting so much fuel to Christmas about Danny, and Christmas is just eating it up. She is so mad at Danny.
She needs someone to go after, you know? Yeah. Davon and Bailey are both gone now. So she's got to have someone in her like laser vision, you know, her sights, like, who can I not trust?
Yep. And that give her enough of that little ammo. Like she's raring to go. She can't stop talking about Danny. And Memphis is like, it's fine. It's fine. No one's listening to her, and let her like spin herself out of control. Like let her be the problem and everyone see it, you know? But of course Christmas is like, she's just like, my name in her mouth, like over and over, you know, like it's working Christmas up. And I think if we can get her on the block this week,
ooh, it'll be the 4th of July, not Christmas. Yes, fireworks. That'll be good.
Right? 4th of July is way better than Christmas. In this sense.
Yeah, right.
I have a question for you, David, because this is what I really want to know today of all days.
Okay.
How do you spell mama?
Well, I saw this controversy on your Twitter. I saw it going down. People were not on your side, but I'm going to throw a rogue third spelling in there. Whoa. Because I am a Mamma Mia fan. You might call me an aficionado, and I spell it M-A-M-M-A.
Because of Mamma Mia.
Yes.
Mamma Mia is spelled M-A-M-M-A.
Correct. Is? Yes.
So it does seem, everyone in the chat, please tell me how you spell mama. It does seem like the common way is M-A. Like even you are doing M-A, but with 2 M's.
Yes. Right.
Cody's mom's birthday today, you guys. And there was already like, what is it, Cheerios or Fruit Loops or whatever.
Fruit Loops,
Memphis had written out Happy B-Day Dominique, because that's his girlfriend. That was yesterday. So today is Cody's mom's birthday. So he scratched out Dominique and he spelled M-A-M-A. And I was like, oh my God, his IQ is really 10. Like, how is he spelling mama? Because he's saying mama and he's spelling it M-A-M-A. And I legit have never seen that spelling.
Really?
So 100%.
In all of your 26 years of life, you've never seen mama.
Thank you.
M-A-M-A.
Yes, in all of my 26 years, I have never seen M-A-M-A, or at least I just didn't realize it because I post that picture and I'm like, who spells it this way? Literally everyone. I don't think I've ever had a tweet blow up this much. Everyone and their brother is like, yes, you idiot. Why are you spelling M-O-M-M-A? That's how I spell it. M-O.
No, and like, you like tweeted so confidently. You were like, poll. Who spells mama like this? You know, it wasn't even a poll. Like you were just like, there's only one right answer. Nobody spells mama like this. Like back me up. And no one was there for you.
No. Two people chimed in and a gazillion were like, what is wrong with you? And then they sent me things like mamas and the papas and like all these examples and obviously Mama Mia, like you just brought. Like I was like, oh snap, I'm an idiot. Like what? What are we talking about? Yep. Chat.
Yep. Oh Oh my God. Yeah.
I
Sorry,
thought, oh,
Sarah.
thank you, Mary, Minnesota.
There
Love
we
you.
go.
Yep. And then I thought maybe it's a Southern thing, but even Southern people were like, no, what are you talking? Some people were like, I've never seen it MOMMA. They're like, what's wrong with
Oh, I've
you?
seen that. I've
Okay,
seen that.
Mandy, you're confirming. We are Southern and
Okay.
we spell it like that. Oh, okay.
Yes.
More people.
Okay, look at that.
Okay,
Support for
you
Sarah.
guys, thank you.
Yes.
You guys are my fam right here.
There is a community out there of people who spell it MONNA.
Okay.
You're not alone, Sarah.
I'm not alone. I really thought I was alone. I was like, what? I was 8 years old when I found out that I've been spelling it wrong this whole time.
Not wrong. You're just in a significant minority of people.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that when I would ever see like MAM, that it was a totally different word, like a mama. It was like a nickname for like a mammy or like I don't know. I thought it was just like something silly, but no, legitimately, that's how people. Oh, look! By the way, my mama's in the room.
Oh,
we were raised mama. That's how we say it. It's a Southern thing. It's a Southern thing. I was like, this is what's really important right now.
Yeah. We got to get to the bottom of this. Now, it does look like beads are back. I can't tell quite yet what happened, but I think
beads are back. I'm over here talking about unimportant things.
They came in the middle of our mama discussion, and that was too important to interrupt.
Thank you.
But we are back. My camera's on Nicole and Danny right now discussing. I saw a shot of Kevin when it immediately came back, but
there's literally no other option.
No, it's Kevin and David.
It's Kevin and David. It's not even like we have to confirm whatsoever. Right. There's no other option. He's like we said, he might put up Christmas if Kevin comes down, but he's not messing with anybody else. He even laid it out kind of nicely to Nicole, because we didn't talk about this conversation, but he's obviously, Nicole is his closest ally, and she is close with Christmas. So he kind of like, I have to kind of give her a heads up, and he was like, she was like, no, you're just doing Danny's dirty work by going after Christmas, because it's those two that are going after each other. And he was like, no, I'm not. Calm down. I would be the next one. Like, if Christmas isn't going to go after Danny for whatever reason, like, Danny is her first target, but I'm her number 2 target. And then he was like, who else would I put up? And he's like listing all of these people. And it's true. Like, he can't put up Enzo. He can't put up Memphis. He can't put up Tyler. He can't put up so many people. He technically can't even put up Danny, even though he like kind of wants to. A little bit, but like, he doesn't want to do it. He wants someone else to do it,
For sure. Yeah.
Christmas is the only committee member he's willing to do.
But it is interesting. Like, Cody and Nicole are super loyal to each other. You're totally right. Like, they tell each other everything, but they've got very different games. They're close to different people. And Nicole, she had like an hour-long conversation with him in the HOH room today, which Danny noticed and brought up. And she was like, what were you talking to Nicole about for an hour?
She loudly brought it up across the house, by the way.
Yeah, right. She was like, how long is this gonna take? But Nicole was up there and she's like, why? You're taking out everybody that I'm close to. You're taking out all of my allies. Like, I'm with you, Cody, but like, I can work with Kevin. I can work with Christmas. And you just like, I was trying to work with Davon. You just keep knocking all these people out that I'm, trying to do something. She's frustrated.
It is frustrating, Nicole. And Cody learned from the best. This is exactly what Derek did to Cody. Derek held Cody right here and knocked off every single person who would be at all willing to align themselves with Cody. That's how you bring someone to the final 2. You're already a winner. It's going to be hard to get the votes for you. And then if Cody drags you along because everyone else that you were aligned with, he got rid of, you're the safe bet. Yes, Nicole, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's what he is doing. Like,
and the fact is, like, he's won HOH twice now. So, and you haven't won HOH. Like, you haven't been in power to say, like, this is what's right for my game. Cody's the one who's been willing to win and take these shots. So,
It was funny. I think it was Sunday. It was like when they were talking about, it was Danny and Nicole talking about how they were going to lose Davon. They wanted to keep Davon, but here we are. We're going to lose it because Cody won't budge. Like Cody wants Davon out. And Danny was like, I'm going to tell Cody, like, we're giving this to you. Like, we're doing this for you. So the next one has to be for us. And I was like, okay, first off, you got rid of Ian for Cody too. So lump that in. Like, this isn't the first time. And also, good luck getting him to do what it is that you guys want from him. That's not how this relationship is set up.
Yeah. Right.
But they don't.
And I mean, of course, he was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, the next one's for you for sure. But like,
yeah.
No, he's not.
No. Guess what? He's literally HOH and he's like doing whatever he wants. Not that Danny's fighting him on any of this, but here we are. Nicole being like, oh, really? Another one of my allies you're talking about getting rid of? And he's like, I see no other way. This is it. Deal with it, girl. Deal with that. And she's like, oh, fine. She's like, well, I can't win anything. So I guess it's.
Yeah. And she's, like you say, he's just knocking out everybody that she's working with. And so she's annoyed, but she has no other option really than to like stick with Cody. He is like her best ally in the game right now. And so she just kind of has to sit there and be like, dang it, in that like classic Nicole way of like, wow, I'm just watching my game fall apart around me.
Oh yeah, your game is falling apart, but she's fairly safe. There's not that many people who are willing to come after her.
Yeah.
So, count your lucky stars. Honestly.
Yep.
Like she's sitting pretty, whereas Kevin is on the block every single week. So which game would you prefer? Yeah,
right.
I can't believe that I'm going to say this.
Wow, okay.
I want a Kevin and David final two, like nothing else.
Did you see, so bad. You and Davon both, did you see Davon's interview with Parade where they were you got to look it up because they're like, let's do your rapid fire thoughts on the remaining house guests. They literally are like firing names at her and she goes, jury, final two, jury now, jury, absolutely. Like, it's just so funny because it's like they obviously intended for her to like talk about their character or like where they met friend. And she's just like ticking off like, this is the order that I want people to show up to the jury house. Yeah. Oh, I bet she does. Yeah. I haven't read any of her exit stuff. I would need to because she said final two for Danny and David. And she said, like, I would love for Kevin to be in the final two. Like, I'm rooting for you, but I think she's like, that ain't gonna happen. Like, right. I mean, unfortunately, it's probably not gonna happen. Like, he has to step up and win stuff. Like, I just really want to I want to see, like some of the older players who would like get nominated, stand up and be like, yeah, you want to take a shot at me? We'll see after veto. And then they win the veto though, like, let's go. But unfortunately, I mean, Kevin did win veto once and took himself down. So yes, that was a physical comp. This one's very different. We talked about it. It's OTEV. It's like kind of, it's a toss up here. I don't know how this is going to go, but I will be rooting for him. Yes, rooting for him. Okay, everyone, cross your fingers, do a vision board, whatever you got to do to get Kevin this veto. We need an exciting week. So we just need something. We need something for BB22. We will be back on Monday to recap Sunday's episode, which will actually show us this HOH, and we'll get to see who actually won all the money and the prizes. We'll see how that goes down. Yeah, we'll see how Dr. Will factored into that, if it was anything more than just hosting or if it was just hosting, probably just hosting, but we will see. Yes, and then obviously we're super excited about this triple eviction coming up on Thursday. Oh, I did get a little bit more information about how BB Can does it. It's different. Okay. 3 people go on the block. And people vote to keep somebody. And then the other 2 go home. Go home, yeah. But this episode is a 2-hour episode. Yeah, it feels like built for 2 back-to-back double eviction like cycles or eviction cycles,
Like 3 HOHs, basically.
Yeah, right.
Right. I know that the Rub as a Podcast people are calling it a double, but I'm not going to steal their term. It's like an HOH eviction, HOH eviction, HOH eviction. Like that's a triple
right.
Eviction that I would assume that is happening in a 2-hour episode because it's 2 hours.
Yes. Well, the first one will be Cody's, right? So
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it'll be the tail end of Cody's eviction, and then we'll crown 2 new HOHs, I would think, in a 2-hour episode. Like putting 3 people on the block and saving 1 and getting 2 out immediately, that just, you can't fill 2 hours with that, you know? So I think that it will be finish up Cody's thing. Let's get this eviction done, lickety split at the beginning of the episode, crown someone new, evict him in the first hour, crown someone new, evict someone else in the second hour.
Exactly. I think that's what we're gonna do. Yes, we want to see a scramble, and they thought a double was this week, and then for some reason they're all like, yeah, it's probably not gonna be a double this week. So the fact that they're gonna get a 2-hour triple,
yeah,
love it. So excited.
I love it so much. Yes.
Okay, so that's it. We will be back on Monday with all of that stuff. And if you follow me on Twitter at Sarah Big Brother, I will give you the results of the veto when that happens. If you want to know in advance, that's
also if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, because like I don't want to say I'm blowing up on Twitter, Sarah, but I'm almost at 100 followers. So I'm starting a campaign. So follow me at Hooked on Reality, and let's get me across 100 followers. Then I think I get a blue check, right? Once I hit 100 followers.
Pretty sure you're on your way to that blue check.
Wow.
Yes, David just got himself a nice little Twitter there. So follow that, because who can live without David's snark? I mean, come on.
Hello.
You need it in your life. So good. So good. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us live. We appreciate you in the chat.
We do, and we will see you on Monday for our next video. Have a good weekend.
Okay, bye.
Bye.